CPA, and I am coming to you to talk about bookkeeping. Yes, I am still on that. For all of you that are new to me, I'm just going to introduce myself real quick. I'm Kanisha Coleman, referred to as the Beauty CPA. I help beauty entrepreneurs save money on their taxes with effective tax planning and CFO services. My main mission and goal is to have you at a point where you are paying the least amount of taxes legally possible. So, let's get into bookkeeping. But wait. First, before I go there, I'm just gonna go through just a couple of housekeeping things. I am broadcasting through Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, so that's why you're kind of gonna see my eyes going, back and forth because I want to kind of look at both audiences simultaneously. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to go ahead and drop them in the comment section. If you're catching this on replay, hashtag replay, drop your question or comment and I will get to you. If you are shy, which I know that some of you are shy, please feel free to DM me anytime about anything and we will connect and we can chat and talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. Okay. So, I do have that ultimate tax planning guide is still available. And I think you all should take advantage of it. It is $47. But if you text Beauty CPA to 21,000, so the phrase Beauty CPA, all one word, to 21000, you will get an extra $10 off. The reason I bring that up is because I know most of you likely saw last night's headline or today's headline too. But last night, Sunday evening, and this morning, like it was, all over the news, the radio, social media. It was all over everywhere about Donald Trump only paying $750 in taxes. Yes. I even made a post about it, right? I made a post about it. I wanted to know. So the topic was, okay, so Donald Trump supposedly had paid only $750 in taxes for 2016 and 2017, right? And so everybody is all up in arms about this New York Times article that said just that, right? So the topic of discussion and some of the circles I'm in and in the news and on the radio was, okay, is that unpatriotic of him to have used tax loopholes to only pay $750 in taxes? Now, this totally assumes that it's all legal, right? Now, if it's illegal, if he's doing some shady stuff, that's a whole nother conversation, whole nother topic, whole nother question. If it's shady, if it's illegal, but if it's legit, right? Like he legitly only paid $750, likely used tax loopholes. Is that unpatriotic? Some people were saying like, he's the president, or at the time he was just getting into office, he was running. So that's unpatriotic of him or anybody else to use tax loopholes to not pay taxes or a lot of taxes, to save money on taxes. But then some folks was like, if it's legal, if it's in the tax law, it is for him and everybody else to use to minimize our tax bills. So is that unpatriotic? Some people say, well, we use taxes to build our communities and our roads and to provide certain services in the country. And then some people are like, but it's legal. If it's in the tax law, Congress allows it to be used in such a manner. So it's fine. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I made a post about it earlier. I remember some people saying, nope, whatever I need to do legally so I can keep my bag, I'm going to do it. If it's legal, I'm doing it, right? But then some people are like, no, I want to be, patriotic. I want to, serve my country by paying my fair share. Y'all let me know. Would you do you think it's unpatriotic to use legal tax loopholes to save money on taxes? I am very interested, you know, in knowing what your comments are. Rooted Salon says, I guess if we all did it, how would the infrastructure survive? Very, very true. Very true. Like if everybody took advantage of every tax loophole and paid very little in tax, how would the country run? Like where would the money come from? That very, very true. Great point, might I add. Um, Other folks were saying, like, how would our communities and those less fortunate survive if we didn't have the tax revenue? Very, very true. Or some folks I know were saying, like, if Congress knows that billionaires and millionaires exploit the tax loophole, meaning that they will use gray areas in tax law to like save as much as possible, if not pay anything. Why won't Congress just change the tax law? They have the power to do it, right? I don't know. Why won't they? Who knows? So yeah, I just thought it was a pretty like interesting topic. What I'll say to that though is I remember a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, I did a whole segment on tax loopholes, right? And I gave some very specific strategies that beauty entrepreneurs can and should be using to minimize their taxes. Um, I am I'm all for tax loopholes. I'm not gonna lie to you. If it's legal and I have a choice between paying thousands of dollars in taxes versus paying very little, I'm gonna use them. As long as they're legal, I'm gonna use them, and I'm gonna always encourage you all to use them too. If it starts to be detrimental to our country, I have full faith that Congress, they're gonna do one or two things. They're gonna close the loophole. They're going to close the loophole because they see they're losing tax revenue in order for everyone in the country to be able to do their job. Or two, they're going to raise taxes on the billionaires and the millionaires. So they can exploit it all they want, but they'll still be taxed at a rate that will commensurate for what they're saving with the loophole. So it'll somewhat balance each other out. I'm going to have my fingers crossed and have faith in our Congress and our elected officials that they're going to do that. If not, I have confidence in the people. The people will use their voting rights to vote folks in that will make that change. So I'm going to get off my soapbox about tax policy. That is not why I am here today. I just thought it was an interesting topic in the news this morning. And like I said, that ultimate tax planning guide for beautypreneurs is going to be the first link in my bio. It's $47. You can save $10 off by texting the phrase beauty CPA, all one word, to 21,000. That's 21000 to get an extra $10 off. In that tax planning guide, it is ways to arrange your financial affairs in a way for you to save as much money as you can in taxes. That last part of my framework is tax loopholes. Okay, so hey, do not hold that against me, but I am all for saving the beauty entrepreneur as much money legally can. All right, so let's get into bookkeeping though, right? I want to, since I've been putting out content about bookkeeping, I have not went live and had the chance to talk to you all about it, and that's what I want to do today. Okay, I really want, if you have any comments or questions out there, I am going to address them today in this live. If you drop them in the comments or the Q&A, or hopefully I may answer the question as I talk. So I remember first starting a series off talking about what is not bookkeeping. And I started it that way because a lot of folks, regardless if they think they are bookkeeping or not, they're doing things thinking they have systems within their business, right? Where mentally they think, okay, this is good, I'm good. But really when it comes to tax time, or time to get a loan, or time to get, there's an investor maybe interested in investing in you and your business, or maybe somebody wants to partner with you, and it's time to look at financial data, they realize this is not sufficient. It does not work, right? And so I started my series off talking about what is not bookkeeping. So let's talk about it. What is not bookkeeping? Bookkeeping is not your merchant account. So if you have PayPal, Stripe, or whatever salon, spa, or just client management system that you're using to book appointments, and people are putting down deposits or paying you fully when they receive their service, and you swipe the card, that system, that merchant account, that it does keep track of the money that you make, and it may even keep track of the money you spend, but that is not bookkeeping. All right, that is not bookkeeping. Just because it's a running total of the money you're bringing into the business, that is not a sufficient system for you to use for literally anything important in your business. Secondly, your bank account, your business bank account, and I hope you all have a business bank account, not a personal bank account that you use for business, or not your personal bank account that you may have your business funds flowing through. No, I'm talking about a business bank account. So it's at US Bank, it's at TCF, it's at Chase, it's at Wells Fargo, wherever, but it is specifically a business bank account at one of those financial institutions, right? That alone is not bookkeeping, because obviously someone can, Zelle you through that account, and you spend you pay bills through that account, and it keeps track of all of those transactions, but that is not bookkeeping. Okay, someone cash apping you is not bookkeeping. Okay, cash apping you is not bookkeeping. I'll tell you, this is why it's not bookkeeping. And I'm going to tell you on two different perspectives. So tax perspective aside, let's just talk about, how it's going to be helpful for that data being in your business. When you look at those accounts and you look at those running totals, how much cash you brought in, how much cash you brought out, just by looking at it, that is not giving you a snapshot of where you are financially in your business. You see how much money you have, but it is not telling you, it's not giving you a real clear picture of where you are financially. It only is good for how much money you may have in a bank account. It's not giving you any meaning beyond that. Okay. Let's flip it to a tax perspective, right? So if you were to come to me with a stack full of statements from your merchant account or your bank statement, and you say, okay, here you go. This is what happened this year. Do my taxes. Number one, I'm going to charge you for two different services. I'm going to charge you, number one, bookkeeping services for an entire year, which could be a lot. Depending on the number of transactions that you have throughout the year, that can range to be thousands of dollars for me to do your bookkeeping for an entire year. And you have to do the bookkeeping before you do the taxes. You have to. Because you have to sum everything up. You have to go through all those statements, and you have to look at all the money you made and tally it all up. And then you have to go through all the expenses. You have to categorize them by type of expense. Then you have to sort through deductible versus non-deductible. And then you have to map it. Map it meaning you have to make it line up to the tax return, to their expense categories. And then you can do the taxes. So you're going to be charged a lot of money, a couple $1,000 for bookkeeping for an entire year. And then you're going to be charged for tax preparation services. Right? So that's a lot. That's a lot of money to come out of at the end of the year. So those are two big reasons why you don't want to depend on merchant accounts or bank statement accounts to be your bookkeeping, because that is not bookkeeping. It's literally just tracking, money in, money out. It's not giving you really any real data you can use for, improving your business. On the flip side, let's say, what is bookkeeping? Okay, let's get into that. Now, when it comes to bookkeeping periodic recording and review by you, the business owner, or whoever you outsource to, of all of the financial transactions of your business, money in, money out. You can do that. There's a couple of ways you can do that. Two big ways you can do that. Number one, if you're a super duper beginner, you can just use Excel. Yep, you could just use Excel or Google Numbers, whatever it's called, like the Google equivalent of Excel, that spreadsheet. If you're super duper new and you're small, you don't have a ton of transactions to record and review, you can use Excel and it's just fine, right? I want you to pick a system that's sustainable, meaning that it's something that you can create a habit of at least monthly in your beauty business, to sit, block out a couple of hours to record and review your financial transactions for your business. Now, if you're not super duper new, or you are ambitious and you're like, take me to the cloud accounting app that I can use. What I use exclusively in my firm is QuickBooks. So I know someone asked the question about, what system should you use? Do you like QuickBooks? I love QuickBooks. I love QuickBooks. Number one, QuickBooks is number one in their field. Gotta be to me, you're number one for a reason. Okay. QuickBooks is number one in their field. They have affordable tiers. They have several different tiers. And I believe they have like 4 to 6 different types of QuickBooks you can use. I use the one that's exclusively in the cloud. So that's QBO, or QuickBooks Online. And then depending on what size you are and what you need in your business, that's how you kind of figure out what you need, right? So for example, they have a very, very simple starter level that you can use that's very inexpensive. And then it builds on from there. So for example, if you have inventory that you want to track through QuickBooks, it has a tier for that. And of course, this gets more expensive as you start to add on things. Or if you have employees or independent contractors and you want to track that, they have payroll you can add on. If you have mileage, if you travel a lot for whatever reason, maybe you're a mobile spa, they have mileage tracking capabilities. That's an add-on. But the point I'm making is if you're ambitious, go ahead and go for the cloud accounting app. Besides QuickBooks, I know there's Xero, there's something called Wave, there are Bench is not an app, but it's an service that's pretty inexpensive if you're just starting out and you want to just explore bookkeeping. There are many options out there, but again, you can do it on a spreadsheet or you can use a cloud accounting app. Whatever you use, make sure it's sustainable. So what I'm saying is, if you want to be ambitious and you go for QuickBooks and you don't want to hire it out to a professional, be committed to learning how to use QuickBooks. There is a learning curve there. Be committed to knowing how to connect all of your accounts to the QuickBooks. So your bank account and all your merchant accounts and every other account you have out there where you got cash flowing in and out. Make sure you are, prepared to keep up with having that connected and reviewing what's flowing through the QuickBooks. Make sure you're prepared to maintain the online accounting app and the setup and all of that, the maintenance. If you go for it and you don't maintain it, one, you're wasting your money because you have to pay the subscription monthly. Two, if you end up paying for someone to maintain it for you, be prepared for that cost as well. Just make sure whatever you choose is sustainable, but you got to choose something. What these systems do, right? Once you start using Excel or once you start using QuickBooks, what will happen is now you have a system where you sit down at least once monthly and you are looking at all the money in and money out financial transactions. And not only are you recording them, you're reviewing and categorizing them so that when the month end comes or the quarter end comes, you have not only an up-to-date set of books where you've kept track of all the money coming in and out, but you also have the story behind the numbers, right? So is my income up or down compared to last month? Is it up or down compared to this same time last year? Am I getting better or am I getting worse? Right? That's what the bank accounts don't tell you. They don't tell you the analytics behind it, right? So let's talk about 7 reasons why bookkeeping is important. Some things that you should be doing with the bookkeeping data, the information, right? So it's not just about like recording transactions just for the sake of recording transactions. I'm gonna be honest with you. I find it tedious. It is tedious, right? Just to sit down and just look at stuff just for the sake of looking at it. What I find exciting about bookkeeping, what I want you to start to find exciting about the numbers is not the exercise of bookkeeping, it's the analytics, the story behind it, right? Are you getting better? Is your financial position getting worse? Do you need to change your pricing? Do you need to switch vendors because maybe they're just charging you too much? Maybe where you are revenue wise is not on par with the expenses you have. Should you switch locations? Is your rent too high? Right? Are your benchmarks just on par with similar salon, spa, independent stylists? Are your benchmarks on par with the industry standard? Okay, so let's get into it. 7 reasons why bookkeeping is important. It helps you develop a budget for your business. Please tell me, all of you watching have a budget, because the budget is the roadmap. The budget is the financial roadmap for your beauty business. To plan ahead, and I know we're all setting goals. We're going to go into Q4 of 2020. Sidebar, how many are happy 2020 is kind of over? 2020 has been a piece of work. I won't get into it. Been the beast, okay? But we're going into Q4 2020, and we're going to end it the best way we can, right? So how do we do that? We make goals and we plan for it. We can't make goals and make plans for it if we don't know where we already are or where we've already been, what we've already done. And what tells us that? Bookkeeping and budgeting. And to budget and plan for the future, you need to know where you are, and that's what bookkeeping does. If the bookkeeping is out of date, we can't plan based on out of date financial information. Anybody got any questions? Please just drop them in the comments or the Q&A or the question box, and I will address them. But when it comes to budgeting and planning for Q4 and beyond, we got to know where we are today. Bookkeeping does that for us, where we are today and where we've been. It's like a historical snapshot. Bookkeeping will tell us where we've been, where we are, and then we can make goals for where we're going. Okay? All right. What else? Number 2 of the 7 reasons why bookkeeping is important. It helps you manage your business finances. And I spoke about this kind of already. But if you go ahead and you plan for your upcoming month or quarter, and that's your budget, how are we going to manage that budget? How are we going to make sure we stay on par with that budget? Right? We do it with bookkeeping. We do it with bookkeeping because when we're sitting and we're tracking those numbers and we're looking at what has happened, we're comparing, we're making sure that that is on par with what we planned for. We're keeping track of the business finances. It's not like you just budget and then you walk away from the quarter and then you budget it and then you're done and you go away until the end of the year. No, we made a budget to stick to certain numbers or to reach a goal. How do we know if we are in fact trending towards the goal or maintaining the budget? It's your monthly bookkeeping. It's looking at the numbers. Not for the sake of the numbers, not just for the sake of doing the exercise. but to get the story. We can't get to the story. You cannot write a story without words and letters. The words make up, the letter makes up the word makes the sentence makes the paragraph. A compilation of paragraphs on several pages, that's the story. We cannot get to the story without all those other smaller components. And that's where the task of bookkeeping comes in. Let's get to number 3, business analysis. And that theme right there is going to encompass everything, the analysis, the analytics, the story. That's what I'm getting to here. And I know a lot of you, right? A lot of you have said, okay, well, how do I get to the story, right? I have the letters, the words, the sentences, the paragraphs. How do I get to the story? Like what is my numbers telling me? We're going to get into that. I am going to get more specific this week into getting to our story. What is the story our numbers are telling us? We're going to get to that this week. Going live again several times this week so we can get to our story. But just know you can't get to a story if you do not have numbers from up-to-date, accurate bookkeeping. Okay, guys? So someone says, okay, what bookkeeping software would you recommend that's cost-effective for a small beauty? QB. Yep, QuickBooks Online specifically. They have a desktop version. We're doing everything in the cloud these days. Because, I mean, if you get desktop, you could back it up. But if something happens to that device, I mean, the information is gone, since the last time you backed up. Then you got to remember to back up. In QBO, QuickBooks Online, those servers are always backed up. It's always accessible from whatever device, wherever you are in real time, as long as you're maintaining it, right? So my vote is QuickBooks. I exclusively only use QuickBooks, have always used QuickBooks. So that's my recommendation. But there are other cost-effective out there, Wave and Xero. I've seen those as well. Okay, we spoke about this a little earlier. Number 4 of the 7 reasons why bookkeeping is important. Bookkeeping makes tax prep smoother and cheaper, guys. Oh my God, I spoke about this like 10 minutes ago. It makes it cheaper. If you come to me with out-of-date books for me to review, I'll review them. I'll look through all your merchant accounts, your bank statement accounts. I'll do it. But it's going to be a pretty penny. It's not going to be cheap. It's going to be like if you outsourced a CPA to do your bookkeeping, that monthly cost times 12 all at once. No one wants to pay all that money to do the catch-up bookkeeping for an entire year. If you're doing it throughout the year, all you have to do at tax time is go to your tax professional and be able to hand them a set of financial statements and say, here you go. Please call me when you're done. And that's it. It makes it so much smoother. And it'll make everything just that much less expensive, right? Reason number 5, bookkeeping makes your IRS and state audits easier. Oh my God. Okay, so for those who are new to me, I spent the first 8 years of my career with the IRS. I was a revenue agent for the IRS auditing small, mid, large size business owners, their tax returns for the business and the owner. Okay. I'm going to tell you this. When I meet a small business owner and they don't have books, my perception of them changes immediately. I will second guess everything they say and give me if they're not doing bookkeeping. Where did you get the numbers on this return? Where'd you get it? If you haven't been keeping track of the expense the whole year, I'm going to second guess everything. Now I have the legal support and reasoning to comb through those accounts, those bank account, merchant account statements. Now I have the power to say what's deductible, what's not, and you have the burden to prove me wrong because you didn't keep books. It gets really messy when you do not have books to rely on in an audit, and the IRS agent knows that, right? It gets real messy. Now it's on you to prove that everything's legit. And it makes the audit long. It makes the probability of all of your expenses being thrown out and not deductible, that probability increases a lot. Okay. And then if you're hiring someone to manage this, now your audit just became expensive because now you're paying them by the hour to prove this stuff out for you. So please take my advice. If you do not bookkeep for no other reason, do it just to slide through an audit easier. Okay? Because it can get real messy. It can get really, really, really messy. Number 6, we're almost there. I don't want to keep you too much longer. Bookkeeping makes your financial information to investors or business partners or bankers that much easier. How many? You don't have to tell me this. I'll just say this. We just went through, or we're going through a pandemic. The government offered PPP and EIDL. One of the requirements to apply to those loans were financial statements. You needed to know certain numbers off the financial statement, and you had to produce a set of financial statements to get those loans. I hope no one watching was scrambling to put together a P&L, a profit and loss statement, balance sheet, or cash flow because they didn't do bookkeeping. Those who already did bookkeeping were able to just go push a button to run reports. And here you go. Let me apply to my loan or my grant with ease, because I could just go into QuickBooks or go to my Excel spreadsheet, press a button, and get my reports. If you had not been bookkeeping when those loans came out, you were scrambling. You were scrambling. And those loans were like first come, first serve. They ran out of money like twice. And so maybe the only reason why you didn't get in on the first or second run was because you had to make up bookkeeping because you were not bookkeeping that whole time. We cannot let things like that keep us from our money or our opportunities. So besides, getting capital, what if you meet an investor that wants to invest in your business, or a new business partner you want to bring on, and they want to see how have you been financially performing? You want to be able to access that financial data quickly. If you don't, it just looks bad. You lose opportunity because of it, right? The last reason, number 7, to have why bookkeeping is important, why you should be doing it in your beauty business, is to give you peace of mind, guys. Peace of mind. Have you ever gone longer than a week without looking at your bank account, your personal bank account? What you got in there? You got to pay rent, mortgage, utilities. Maybe if you have children, you have to pay for their things. Maybe you want to go on a nice date night, if you can do a date night these days because of closings with the spouse. Maybe you want to buy something for whatever reason. Have you ever just done any of that without looking at your personal bank account? If the answer is no, that goes the same for your business. That you have to look at how you're doing financially, and being able to just go into a system, whether that's Excel or a QuickBooks or an alternative option. Just being able to go into something to see that everything is up to date and the story. It should bring you peace of mind. You can lay and go to sleep at night with no stress about your numbers because you know where they are. Even if it's you're doing great right now, or maybe you're not at a place where you want to be. At least you know that, though, right? It's not a surprise to you. Right? I don't know if you've ever had like a check bounce or a bill not being able to be paid or whatever. It's not a good feeling at all, because you didn't know or were unaware or you refused to look. So those are my 7 reasons, guys. Last one being, most importantly, bookkeeping gives you peace of mind, knowing that everything is up to date and everything is fine. I'm gonna go through them real quick, and then I'm gonna let you guys go and enjoy your Monday. Monday. Okay, so number one, I'm going through the 7 reasons real quick. Number one, bookkeeping helps you develop a budget. And you need a budget. Budget is the roadmap to your beauty business. Bookkeeping helps you manage your business finances. It allows for you to do business analysis to know the story behind your numbers. Are you doing better? Are you doing worse? Do you need to up the pricing? Bookkeeping makes tax prep smoother and cheaper. Okay. It makes your IRS and state audits go easier. It makes providing financial information to bankers, investors, lenders, new business partners effortless. And then most importantly, bookkeeping, up-to-date bookkeeping will give you peace of mind in your beauty business. If you guys have any questions or comments, please drop them now. If you're on replay, go ahead and drop them and I'll answer them for you directly. I hope all of this was helpful and eye-opening for you. Like I said, throughout this week, we're going to go deeper into the financial analysis part of it, right? Because bookkeeping is not just the numbers. It's not bookkeeping. I'm not encouraging it because I just want you to go track financial transactions, right? It's not that. It's what bookkeeping gets you to. It gets you to the story and the analytics behind your financial numbers. And we're going to go a little deeper into that later this week. Okay. So again, enjoy your Monday. I hope this was helpful and you will be seeing and hearing me soon. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.